What's going on, YouTube? It's me, Cupid. How are y'all doing? It's good to see you. So I know what a lot of you are probably thinking. Cupid, where's the new combo video? It's been so long since you've, given us some great Skull Soul Servant knowledge, and all you did was make a Halq. And Halq is banned now. Cupid been real quiet since Halq was banned. Clearly, Cupid doesn't have any content now. How is he gonna make a cool Skull Servant combo? Well, I'll be honest, the deck did get hampered severely by this. You no longer have a consistent turn 1 play, but there are a couple of 2-card combos you can look out for, and there's a 1-card combo that you can try and get yourself. What I have opened here in my opening hand is White Baking plus Unizombie. White Baking plus Mizuki ends on the same end board, and this is a standard combo that you can get without activating grass in this deck. So we're gonna, obviously assuming our opponent doesn't have a hand trap, because, playing through hand traps is not how you demonstrate a combo. Twitch chat, YouTube comments. Alright, so we are going to Unizombie, and since, we opened White Baking, we will send that one from our hand. Again, if we have Mizuki, we'll be doing the same thing. We're basically always grabbing White Mare at this point. It's just free link fodder. And in addition to that, it's extra body on board, and it's an extra Skull Servant engrave, which is pretty useful. So we're going to, White Baking, send our White Prince from the deck to grave, essentially, after adding it to our hand. Banishing the lady in white, that is going to be very important. You're almost always going to do that now. To special King of the Skull Servants, now you'll activate White Mare to special summon that lady in white back. Right? And now we're going to use Unizombie's effect to send from deck to grave, targeting the lady in white. You can also target itself. It doesn't really matter either way around, but you want to keep these two adding up to level 8. Now, let's just assume you have only the 2 cards of White Baking and Unizombie. At this point, what you would do is you're going to go into your ruler, as this card is really good. It gives you 5 free mills, and in Skull Servants, 5 mills is very strong. So we are always going to activate this ruler's effect. I suppose I will grab a White Mare. Now, we could do a lot of fun shenanigans here. But let's assume we didn't mill this second White Prince that you guys didn't see me mill. Let's assume we didn't mill that. Because, I want to demonstrate the power of the 2-card combo. So, that Mizuki that we sent earlier off of our Unizombie is going to now resummon said Unizombie. And now we can synchro summon for Cupid Pitch. Alright, not too, spicy here. Now when Cupid Pitch hits the board, we're going to decrease the level to make it a level 1. And now we are going to synchro for a Shen Shen. And Cupid Pitch will activate, grabbing us a Nemesis Corridor. And then we will make a Colossus. And that is a pretty standard Skull Servant end board. This is White Baking plus either Mizuki or Unizombie. Either of those works, and you can put this Mizuki back in your deck as well. And you end on Shen Shen plus Colossus, which is pretty strong. Unfortunately, you do have to banish your Nemesis Corridor, so you don't get the free extra protection with the Colossus. But that is what it is. Now, obviously this is pretty decent. I had better plays to do due to, milling a White Prince and so on with that. But assuming we only had Unizombie plus White Baking or Mizuki, again, either of those works, this is your end board. You get this, and you end off of whatever you added, plus the 3 cards in your starting hand. Now, is this as strong as the multiple Omni-Negate board that we used to make? Absolutely not. But this is still 2 floodgates. Your opponent cannot search, and your opponent, anything that leaves the field and goes to the graveyard, would be banished instead. just making this end board has won me games by itself. The 2 floodgates is very, very strong, right? And then, you know, next turn you have follow-up. But, yeah, you also have a ruler engraved that you can activate sometimes if you have a light monster, being Raiden or White Princess here. And, you know, it's pretty good. If you open only one of... Here, let's try and get another game, and if I'm lucky, I will open a Unizombie to show you what Unizombie does by itself. Essentially, you know that whole play that we just did? Well, imagine if you just have ruler. You just go into ruler. Alright, well, we seem to have gotten very unlucky, and we didn't open a Unizombie. But what if we drew one? Well, that's an unfortunate. Nemesis Corridor. Alright, so we didn't get Unizombie. That's the struggles of running 60 cards. I guess I could just explain the combo to you guys to save some time. Might as well. I don't have the ability to edit this stuff out, so you're gonna have to deal with this. Okay, so in the case where you have, you know, just Unizombie, what you do is you normal Unizombie and you send White Baking from the deck to the graveyard. White Baking is then going to grab you your White Mare and your White Prince, discard the White Prince send White Prince effect, special the King of the Skull Servants from the deck. And then at that point, like, if you have no other cards in your hand, so, you know, let's just say Unizombie is the one card you have in your hand, at that point, you banish to special summon the King from the deck, you White Mare to special summon back the Lady in White, and at that point, you have a 4, a 1, and a 3. And then you Synchro for Chaotic Magical Ruler, because, well, the deck is heavily mill reliant now. You use your graveyard for a lot of things. You basically want to load up your graveyard to get your Link climb, your Synchro climb, and all of that good stuff. So, let me explain everything in the deck for you guys, give you a little deck profile on how Cupid is playing Skull Servants these days. This deck is going very, very well. It's very strong going second. It accomplishes what it needs to do going first if I open combo. And you'll notice something very, very, I suppose, interesting for a lot of you. I'm not playing any hand traps. Now, why am I not playing any hand traps? Because hand traps make us break, so we do not want them anymore. Basically, now that we don't have our one-card Halq cheese, we need to focus more on actually getting our plays off. Now, the strongest board that I have played through with this deck is 3 negates. So even if your opponent is still putting up 3 negates, if you open well enough with this deck, you can still play through it and even get a win, sometimes even OTK. It was a full Synchron board where they made the level 11 as well as all of the different level 12s. So actually I think that's 4 negates. 3 negates and a monster negate. So pretty strong. Let me explain how. Or not how, but my ratios. So, 2 vanilla Skull Servant, 2 Lady in White. This is the minimum amount that you can play. These cards are bricks in the hand. You don't want to draw them, but you want to send them from your deck off of White Prince to special summon King of the Skull Servants. And you also, you know, want to use them to load up your graveyard to make your king also really, really big. 3 King, I mean, he's obviously the boss monster. I feel like that's self-explanatory. 3 White Mare, this is a excellent card now. This is an excellent card. It specials these back, and fun fact with these, if you're ever scared of Mirror Force or Magic Cylinder, this card, Lady in White, makes all of your Skull Servants unaffected by spells and traps. They also can't be destroyed by battle. 3 White Prince, I mean, obviously you need to hit White Prince off of any of your mills if you can, so you want to play the maximum amount. Same thing with White Baking. White Baking is the best card of the deck. And you really, it's like a broken card, even outside of Skull Servants. Like, think about it. 1 card search 2, send card from hand to graveyard, really strong search power. That's not even counting the fact that you can discard it to protect your zombie from being destroyed. So you definitely play 3 of those. 3 Plague Spreader. Now, the reason you play 3 Plague Spreader and you don't play 3 Jet Synchron is because Plague Spreader is level 2, and we like to synchro summon for Baron, which is level 10. So if you mill Plague Spreader off of your ruler, 8 plus 2 equals 10. There you go. In addition to that, you know, there's other good synchro climb plays that you can make. You can use it to make your Cupid Pitch level 6, which sometimes comes up in the case where you can make Leviair, and then you can synchro off your Cupid Pitch with the Mizuki that you summon off your Leviair. You know, there's a whole bunch of neat niche situations that you can accomplish. Also, this can be used for link climbing. And it is a zombie, so you can summon it off of Mizuki for additional link climbing if you really are feeling the need to do that. I feel like Jet Synchron just doesn't have the same versatility and is a lot more of a brick. So you play Plague Spreader, but not Jet Synchron. 3 Unizombie, 3 Solitaire, you know, 6 copies of Unizombie. It's the best card of the deck. It's your starter. You basically need it. 3 White Princess, this is your hand trap. It stops you from dying. If you have a subpar opening hand and you don't go into a strong board, you just discard it, reduce all your opponent's monsters to very, very small stats, unless they're playing a linked-based deck, and then, you know, you just go ahead and survive a turn, and then hopefully you can kill them on the reload. Not only that, but this has the additional effect of when it is summoned, you can send a White Prince from your deck to the graveyard, which is very, very strong. Loading up your graveyard, and obviously getting those extra mills, getting those bricks out of your deck, and all that good stuff. Now, we're back to playing Dangers. Why are we back to playing Dangers? They are free summons, they are free discards, and they are free draw power. What more could you want in a card? In a deck that loves its graveyard, and needs draw power for additional consistency. Why would you not play Dangers? So, 2 Jackalope, it's really good. If you discard it, it's always going to summon a danger from the deck, and you can pick whatever level you need. 3 Tsuchinoko, it's a guaranteed summon, and level 3 is an excellent place to be because we have Leviair, and Leviair is a very good extender. In addition to that, the rest of our danger package is 3 copies of Mothman. Mothman being a 4 is a little bit awkward sometimes, but the fact that he is a guaranteed discard a card and draw one is excellent. 2 Nessie. Nessie being a 7 is a little bit awkward to work with, and that's why we only play 2. We are playing at the moment 3 Thunderbird and 2 Ogopogo. Now, I know what you're thinking. Cupid, why are you playing Ogopogo and not Bigfoot? Well, simply put, Bigfoot is a UR, and I do not have the UR materials to craft Bigfoot for the deck. Absolutely replace Ogopogo with Bigfoot, if you can. That's our danger package. And then beyond that, we have obviously 3 Mizuki. You want to mill Mizuki every time. It's broken, and basically your idea is to spam Mizuki's effect if you can. You're playing 2 Raiden because you don't want to draw both. You want your charges to always be active. And not only that, this is also a very good normal summon, being the fact that you can mill the top 2 cards of your deck. And it's an additional light monster for our Chaotic Magical Ruler's recursion. And then finally, to round out the rest of our main deck monsters, we have 3 Nemesis Corridor. Obviously, hard drawing it makes a Colossus. You can search Cupid Pitch, you know, you can search it off of Cupid Pitch, and that's also completely acceptable. But this is just a very, very consistent way of making Colossus. I don't see, like, you're almost always going to have something banished. Like, Plague Spreader banishes itself, Mizuki banishes itself, White Prince banishes itself, and 2 other cards. You're always going to have something banished unless you get Lanceiad. This is always active. And then after that, we have our Spell and Trap lineup. It's very simple. 3 copies of Charge of the Light Brigade, mill 3, add Lightsworn, pretty good. You mostly play for the mill 3 effect. 1 copy of 1-for-1, discard a card, or not discard, but send, is pretty strong. And then following up the send effect, you special summon a usually white baking from deck. Sometimes if you're going second, you can attempt to swing for game with King of the Skull Servants as well. 3 copies of Grass, you're playing 60, and you're playing a graveyard deck. Why wouldn't you? And 2 Called By, just because we really don't like getting ashed. Getting ashed is a real pain, but you can live through it. You'll survive. Now, the extra deck I will give pretty brief explanations as to why everything is in there. Colossus, Cupid Pitch, I don't really think those need to be explained. Nemesis Corridor being searched off of Cupid Pitch to make Colossus. Colossus is an excellent floodgate and probably shouldn't still be illegal, but it is. Samurai Saga, now this one is here for a very niche situation. Extremely niche. In fact, it almost never comes up. But there is a situation in which needing a level 6 synchro to be on the board comes up. Let's say you've used both Unizombie effects and you've used Leviair and you have 2 3s on the board, so you have Unizombie plus Tsuchinoko. You can not synchro for Samurai Saga, but you can make IP. But if you have White Princess and, you have a Plague Spreader in Graveyard and you already have everything else somehow, which is pretty easy to accomplish sometimes, depending on mills, you can synchro for this, and then you can use your Graveyard Plague Spreader to make an 8, which, at that point, you're definitely going to be going into Savage, which is very strong. Yeah, so 6 is a occasionally needed synchro number, so you do play a 6. After that, we have Borreload Savage Dragon, best level 8 synchro in the game. Makes a negate, why wouldn't you take it? Chaos Ruler, also the other best level 8 synchro in the game. Excavate the top 5, add a light or a dark, mill the rest. Guess what? Basically, this entire deck is light or dark, or cards that you want to mill. So, clearly, this has very good use. Shen for the aforementioned combo, where you open Unizombie plus Mizuki or White Baking. It ends on Shen plus Colossus, which is a strong board. Baron, I mean, this is, it's Baron. You gotta play Baron in a deck that makes level 10 synchros. And since, we can make them pretty easily with, 3 plus 7, which isn't very common, but, we also have 2 plus 8, which is happening every game almost, you're obviously going to be playing Baron. Leviair is an excellent card. You're playing so many level 3s and you summon so many level 3s. Overlaying for them to refresh a Mizuki by recovering it from the banished zone and then having Link fodder to climb into an IP, and then whatever you need in your graveyard as well, is super strong. Leviair is the only Exceed that you really need beyond the Zombie Vampire. 2 level 8s, you're playing a bunch of level 8 dangers, and obviously the Chaotic Magical Ruler. And if you're feeling extra spicy, you can use Colossus for Zombie Vampire as well. Now, Milling 5 is an excellent ability. Special Summoning a monster that you milled is also an excellent ability. Big surprise, we played the Zombie Vampire. Link Karibo, Link off a level 1, trigger your graveyard effects for White Prince or White Baking. If you had Verte and then the DPE fusion and all that, which I guess you could maybe play if you're trying to get rid of things like, your Goddess and your Samurai Saga, you can do Verte and DP if you're feeling so inclined to do that. It makes White Prince a 1-card combo that does that. It makes White Baking a 1-card combo that does that. You want to have a Link 1 that gets rid of your level 1s. IP, you go into IP, if you can Link climb, you're going to go into IP. You want to make 3 negates Appaloosa that can't be destroyed by card effects. You do not want the extra monster negate. You don't need that many monster negates. 3 is more than enough to stop your opponent's turn, I promise. Triple Burst Dragon, this is just a Link 3. Any Link 3 works here. And it's really just there for access code climb. Appaloosa, this is your typical turn 1 end board. The best end board you can get turn 1 is 3 negates Appaloosa, Baron, Savage with IP attached to it, and Colossus. This is your best turn 1 board. I have pulled it off a whopping 4 times in, I want to say, the 20 test hands that I have done. And it's alright, Access code, obviously for popping cards, all of your Link monsters except for Appaloosa are dark. Good luck with that. But, popping 2 cards is usually enough. If your opponent has to play through that board that you made, then usually 2 is enough. And then finally, Goddess. Goddess is here specifically for ladder reasons, to be honest. Like, you really don't need Goddess. This can be replaced with almost anything. I am playing Goddess just in case I magically run into Crooked Cook on the ladder. Alright, and that concludes Cupid's new Skull Servant deck. If you have any suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments. If you don't, obviously, I appreciate you for watching the video this long, and I hope you enjoyed. I will see you all on my stream at twitch.tv/CupidVT. Later.